Okay, so here we're learning how to do a database article. So a database is just a collection of resources that you have to, that are organized so that people can search the database for. Here at the college, you have access to several databases, including EBSCO, and that's where we're getting this particular article. So a database is an extra container and location that we have to add. So whatever type of source we're looking at, if it's a web source, a book, a magazine, or a journal, we're going to do that part of the citation as we would normally. And then we're going to add at the end the database name and location where it is in the database. And that's usually a DOI or an HTTP address. So we're going to go here to our article about winter survival shelters. Right. And we're going to see, here's our author, here's our title. Down here in the footer is the name of the journal or the periodical, as well as the date, right? And so I've got everything I need to cite this except for the location in the database, and I've given you that in Brightspace, so we'll look there first. Now, one of the things I've got here when I'm looking at my authors, I have this Dave Hall with John Ulrich. And the thing is, if it said Dave Hall and John Ulrich, then there would be no question I would have to cite both of them. But when someone says with, that means that John Ulrich has contributed something to this, but not on the same par as Dave Hall. So you have to make a judgment call whether you're going to cite the second one as part of this. And when I look at this article, I see here that both of these men authored together this Winter in the Wilderness. And what it seems to be is that Dave Hall has based this article on some of the information that they used in that. So he's giving Ulrich a shout out, but Ulrich really isn't an author here. So we're just going to cite Dave Hall. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say Hall, comma, Dave, period. The title of my source is my article title, and that's going to be Winter Survival Shelters. And that's going to be in all caps, in period, in quotation marks. The name of my journal, again, I'm going to look down here at the very bottom, and it's New York State Conservationist. I'm going to put that in italics because it is a container. Comma, and then I'm going to give the date, and that said December 2015. So following MLA rules, I'm going to abbreviate the month and give the year, and then I'm going to give the location, which is going to be pages 6 through 9. So I'm going to put PP to label, so that's pages. Now I'm going to put a period. Now, if this were a print article, I would be finished. But again, we're getting this print article from a database. So now I have to add the database information. So I got this from EBSCO, so I know that that is the name of my database. And again, I'm going to put that in italics because it is a container. I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to put the location that this is in the database. So I'm going to come back to my worksheet, and you're going to see right here is the URL of that. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste. And then I'm going to put a period. And the only thing I have to do now is to format this appropriately. Now notice, this gives me this weird space right here because of the way the web address is. That's okay. That's the way it goes. It lays on the document. Then that's what it looks like. It looks odd, but that's all right. Now my last thing is I've got to take a quotation from this article. So again, we're just going to grab anything that's a sentence. If you want to do more than a sentence, that's fine, but keep it short. So I'm going to grab that, and this is on page 8. So I'm going to put open quotation marks. I'm going to paste my quote here. I'm going to put close quotation marks. Notice I don't have a period at the end there. Parentheses, Hall, it's on page 8, in parentheses, period. So here's my author name, and there's my location. And so remember, it's what is here in this first part of my works cited entry that I'm going to be using to get the information to put in the parenthetical. I'm not going to use all of the information here, but this is where I find it. And that's the end of how to do a works cited and a quote from an article in a database.